Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I am an expert at relationships, at parenting, and at education and leadership training. I actually do leadership training all the time, and people want to know, are effective leadership techniques also effective parenting techniques? What do you think? Yes or no? Well, we're going to go into the yes or no in this video. I wish it were a simple answer. It's not just yes or no, it's actually both. So in this video, we're going to talk about no, why some leadership practices or techniques are not great for parenting, but then we'll also talk about which ones are great for parenting. So this is why some people wonder about this question. The thing is, we can't just have it be cut and dry across the board, and there are certain reasons why. I'm going to explain that and a whole lot more in this video. So first, let's talk about no. Why are leadership techniques sometimes not very great parenting techniques? Well, the reason why is the roles are different. The role of parent and child is very different than the role of like boss and employee, or the role of leader and other people that think the leader's ideas are cool and want to follow their example. While all of them should be setting the example, one of them has different type of authority than all of the others. So a boss and an employee have a certain type of an authority relationship where the boss is over the employee. But that is even less authority than a parent has over a child. Parents literally have the strongest claim on authority in the world. Did you know that? They are literally given a stewardship to form and guide and train another person. It is their job, it is their duty, it is their responsibility. That is part of who they are. They have to be a teacher. As soon as a child is born, they're a teacher whether they like it or not. And they can fail at it or do really well at it. But that parental authority cannot be matched by any other type of authority that we have invented in our society. So with our question about do effective leadership techniques, can they also double as effective parenting techniques? We have to put an emphasis on the word effective, okay? There is a difference with something being effective and something being efficient. So many people think that those two are the same. They're not. When it comes to parenting, efficient is like everybody got the beds made. Everybody got out the door on time. But effective is like there was a bond. There was a communication, there was an attachment that happened. Something occurred within our hearts and in our minds that we became a different person. So we have to think about effectiveness. There are some things that are absolutely not effective when it comes to leadership skills or leadership techniques that are not effective in parenting. So lots of times leadership techniques, people use positive motivations that kind of seem like bribing. Now, this is not actually effective. This might be efficient because you can get somebody to change their behavior, but people throw out little carrots and stuff to people all the time. That type of technique in parenting creates entitlement. In fact, it can create entitlement with any person who is being led in that way, although you can kind of get away with it sometimes with just general leadership, because usually those are one-off situations and people have a level of maturity that they don't allow themselves to be manipulated to the level of entitlement and being completely dependent upon the leader to throw them a bone. However, when it comes to parenting, if you start bribing your children when things are going wrong all of the time, then your children will start to expect that they need to act bad so that they will get an offer of something good if they change their behavior. This type of bribery creates a manipulative environment that makes the child feel dependent on altering their emotions in order to get what they want. So this is a bad thing and therefore not a very effective skill for parenting. Another reason that leadership techniques don't make the greatest parenting techniques all of the time is because that there is a maturity difference. When you have a parent-child relationship, the parent is significantly more mature than the child is. When you have a leadership relationship, maybe in business or in the presentation of ideas or something like that, usually it's assumed the majority of the people on the presenting and receiving side of the ideas or of the leadership are actually on a similar maturity level, meaning they would all be adults, say, for instance. And so that is a different dynamic than when one person is much more mature than another person. So you have to use different language. You have to use skills that are a little bit more specific instead of just throwing out an idea and expecting a person to just maturely incorporate that into their daily life. Children need a little bit more how-to. And sometimes people feel like they shouldn't have to give someone all of that how-to, but then that disables the children. So we have to keep in mind maturity levels, and then we can start applying leadership techniques. So let's talk about now what kinds of leadership techniques are really great that can also be applied as parenting techniques. The type of parenting I teach is called teaching self-government. So the focus is to teach parents and children how to govern their own behaviors. This is a leadership form of parenting, absolutely, because you're recognizing each person has to make their own decision. They've got to have their own change of heart. The only thing that I can do is recognize my role, my parental authority, and create an environment and teach skills that will help them choose to have that change of heart and to strengthen those bonds that I will hopefully be giving the example of that are so good and helpful in the family. So this type of teaching is very proactive as opposed to reactive. So that's a normal leadership skill that we talk about. A leader says what's happening right now, what's going to be happening in the future, and how can I prepare for something bigger in the future. In the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, we talk about creating a vision for our family for the future. We create a 20-year vision of who we're becoming as a family. And we put details in there that talk about what types of bonds we'll have and even what people are going to be there. That may seem a little crazy, but it's powerful. It's proactive. So no matter what happens in the minute, we all keep mentally prepared for where we're going. And when we need to fix something, it's okay to fix it because it's helping us get to that destination that we've planned to go to as a family. If you want a lot of help with how to set up that family vision in a really powerful way, I do have some other videos here on this YouTube channel that you could look for that talk about family visions. And you can also check out the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, which is on teachingselfgovernment.com. Some other things that good leaders do is they have meetings. They take the time as a group to plan where they're going and then to see what adjustments they need to make along the way. Well, in the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, we also talk about meetings. Our family has 3 different meetings each week. We have couples meetings, family meetings, and individual mentor meetings with the parents and the children, just one-on-one with each other. These meetings help us make goals and plans for our future success. Another thing good leaders do is they seek to understand the people around them. Well, good parents should also be seeking to understand. In fact, that's a tone element that makes for really great relationship building. You should be thinking on a regular basis, what is going on in that person's mind? Why did they make that mistake? And how can I help them change the way they're processing that so that they don't have that mistake happen again? We have a special problem-solving exercise that we do in the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course called SODAs. It's a problem-solving exercise. The acronym stands for Situations, Options, Disadvantages, Advantages, Solution. And this helps our children prepare ahead of time how to solve their problems. It also helps us understand what's going through somebody's mind when they just made a mistake. If we do this particular exercise after somebody has made a decision that probably wasn't the best decision for them. Good leaders have mission statements. Good families can also have mission statements. Our mission statement is something that we say every day as the Peck family. And if you want to know more about that mission statement, you can see other videos on this channel that also talk about creating mission statements. And that's something I teach in other places on my website as well. But having a statement that you can say each day unifies the group together and keeps the focus clear on that vision, on that group that you're trying to become at some appointed time in the future. The mission statement gives you how you're going to get there. Good leaders set goals and they keep those goals. They also engage in projects with groups. So this is another thing that we should think in terms of doing with our family. Good parents set goals. When you're in a meeting with your family, set goals. When you individually talk to your children about some of the struggles they're having, maybe habits or like thought habits or behavior habits, and you want to help them overcome those, set goals. Set positive consequences and negative consequences to help them be inspired to really conquer those habits and achieve their goals. Also, projects. Leaders work on projects together. Isn't one of the greatest projects we could ever work on creating a happy, united family? I feel like it is. I feel like there's nothing more valuable. What a wonderful project. But there's other projects we can work on too, such as work projects as a family, fun projects, planning service projects for other people maybe in our community. Families that do projects together become more united in all things, just like people in any sphere or business. If they work on a project or are part of a sports team together, they become more unified because they have more in common. This is a great principle of leadership that is a great thing to apply to families as well. Another thing that a good leader has is patience, and they have skills. They know how to communicate with somebody else. They know how to disagree with somebody else. And they don't take it personal if they do have a disagreement. They give the person they have a disagreement with the benefit of the doubt. They assume that what that person thinks and says is worth knowing. There's a skill that we use in our family to make sure we keep ourselves in that zone, understanding each other. That skill is called disagreeing appropriately. To disagree appropriately, you look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say that you understand the other person's point of view, share your point of view, listen to what they have to say okay, and then drop the subject. We learn how to do that with each other, siblings, parents, children, neighbors. This is a skill for life that helps people solve their problems, get understood, and also be able to let it go when things don't get decided their way in the end. A good leader knows they're not just in charge. They are the person that helps the group all take full investment and feel like they're in charge collectively as a group. Did you know that your family is a business? One time when I was teaching a group of people about self-government skills and principles, there was an independent businessman, very successful businessman, who said to me, "Nicholeen, I have been spending years of my life building up business after business and making it so that they function well and so that they have this leadership structure in there and that the people are invested. And I've never done it for my family," he said. "I can't believe I missed that. My family is my most important business. Of all of my leadership roles," he said, "that is my most vital leadership role." He was right. It hit him like a ton of bricks. And he said, "This is the most important thing for me now. For everything else, I don't care. I've got that built up, but this family has to be number one for me. I've got to be a good leader here." So can leadership techniques and parenting techniques be similar? Yes. Can they also be damaging? Occasionally. So be careful. If you want a really great program that is based in leadership principles and skills, the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course is a great one for you. I want you to know that there is so much more about this topic of self-government, and I'm pretty sure the next video I have you're going to love. That video is right here, and it's called How to Parent a Strong-Willed Child.